Cool.
So
Maybe I'll have to schedule a visit sometime.
yeah, we'll add it to the tour.
Well, it actually
So
does sound cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's get into it. What inspired creating this documentary that you made?
Well, I mean, look, it's a doc about speech and how we misperceive each other, how we think we have all these tremendous divisions and reasons to hate each other in this country, and which I think we don't. But it was inspired by that moment in 2020, 2021 when we're all locked in during COVID and all you can see, you're not out interacting with real people so very much.
Sure.
You're seeing what looks like the country lit on fire online and through media, and you're having your rare interactions with neighbors. They all seem to be going a little bit crazy and kind of looking to jump on people and just exuding hate. And my wife and I, we got two kids. We're in the apartment in New York, and just thinking, this isn't how we grew up. We grew up in New York. It was definitely a different city then.
Sure.
And a different set of people in the way, and a different way of living, I think, around the country, where you disagree with people. Or I remember in high school, we'd kind of sit by the lockers and, we'd argue, we'd yell at each other, call each other commies and fascists, and then go play handball and get pizza, right? It wasn't, I hate you, you're a terrible, evil person for, thinking about something differently. So, look, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a journalist, and I think about what's the story. Immediately, I just get obsessed with a story and started looking, what's a story, what's a visual story, because that's what film is. And what's a way to tell it in a way that anyone's going to give a damn about that isn't just science, and there's a lot of social science in it, right? But
Certainly.
how do you wrap social science into something that's that communicates and people choose to watch? And that, to me, it's humor, it's comedy.
Sure.
And comedians are great, so they're natural social scientists themselves in a way, right? They're great observers. So I figured they would, their intuitive reactions to what was happening around us would reflect the science, what the social science was saying about how we are not as divided as we think we are. And I was right. I try not to be right.
Yeah.
They're great interviews.
So were you already in touch with the community? Like, had no?
No. I mean, my world was film and filmmakers, but I didn't know comedians, and so what I had to do was, if you know anything about this world, agents, managers, publicists, they exist to say no. Right? Yeah. They do not want, right? If Paramount Pictures calls with a big deal, then hey, they're totally receptive, right? But they are not there to help make a small documentary. And so I knew that was a non-starter to start reaching out to publicists and agents. So living in New York, the Comedy Cellar is one of the great homes of comedy. It's in Greenwich Village. It's where so many people started out. And it's on McDougal Street. And so I reached out to the owner, Noam Dwarman, who's a fantastic guy and just a known character in the city. I didn't know him. And said, hey, look, here's this project I want to do. This is a subject I care about, and I need comedians, and you have all the comedians. Can you help? And so he invited me to chat, and he's like, look, this is great. I think it's a great idea, but I can't throw you at Chris Rock. When Chris shows up at the cellar, it's like someone's going to ask him, can I park your car? Can I get you a drink? Like, that's it. No one's hounding him for anything. So what I can do, though, is get you a seat at the table, right at the bar. All the comedians, they hang out. It's like a salon of journalists over here and comedians over here. It's this great New York scene. But, look, I'll get you a seat, and you'll slowly become recognizable to people if you just come hang out and slowly chat, and don't be an asshole, keep respectful, but as you're talking to people, you can tell them what you're up to and, see what happens. And so it's what I did. The first night they reopened after COVID shut down, I was there, and I started coming 4 or 5 nights a week. I put my kids to bed and then head over to the cellar and just hang out at the bar and nurse a beer and slowly start getting to know people, and people are asking me, what the hell you're not a comedian, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be at this table.
Right.
What's up? And I'd say, hey, look, I bet you travel from New York to LA and hit every little club in between, and you don't see the same country in reality as we're seeing online. And they're like, yeah, no, most people are just people. They're just trying to get through the day. They're not looking to, jump on you. There's always someone in the audience who's looking like this, or just wants you to say something they agree with. But no, most people are, not like that. So I was like, great, I'm doing this movie about it. Would you do an interview? And so over the course of many, many, many months, just kind of sitting there like Jane Goodall, making no
Observing the
movements.
monkeys. There you go.
What's that?
I said observing the monkeys.
Observing the monkeys and not disturbing the monkeys. You don't want to get in the way and overstay your welcome. I got a lot of people to say, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then, I got a grant to fund the start shooting anyway, and I set some shoot dates, and whoever was in town, came by, and it's like herding cats because, they're all over the place. So a lot of people said yes. I couldn't schedule, which is a shame, but I ended up with a great
P Boiz, number one.
Great cast of
Kind of the number one Metro Detroit comedy podcast. Big deal.